Hey guys, Smettershoe here. And anytime we talk about pew pews, we want to bring up the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution in case any of you fuckers out there are ignorant to it. A well regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'm Smettershoe. I'm your host. This episode is brought to you by My Fat Ass. So I did a video a couple days ago, and I've actually tried to post this video several times, but I keep getting interrupted. I lost power. I don't know, my dog pooed. Anyway, finally, hopefully this one will be a keeper. So the video I did the other day was on the bump stock, and I gave you my thoughts, my comments, my smart ass remarks, why I think the bump stock is just a novelty at best, but also why I think it was a win for the Second Amendment community that the Supreme Court basically has said that, look, if you want to ban something like this, especially when it comes to the Second Amendment, you have to do it the way amendments are made. So 2/3 majority of the Congress and push the bill in order to amend the Constitution. They cannot do that. So that's a win for the 2A community. Not because the bump stock is such an amazing little apparatus. No, it's a piece of junk. But it's part of that slippery road where if we give anybody in the anti-gun community an inch, they will take a mile. So it's not my job to tell you, you can't have one of these, or you don't think that there's a perfectly good use for it. The opinions expressed on the bump stock in my previous video are just mine. And if you can make a case for it, that's fine. Anyway, it's not for me or the government or anyone else to tell you that you can't have one. I just don't see any purpose in it. So that being said, I did make a mention in that video. We were talking about pistol braces as opposed to bump stocks. And apparently some of our elected representatives have this confused. One in particular, there's a clip of a senator going around, shows a picture of the pistol brace and says it effectively turns this thing into a machine gun. I want to know how that's actually done. Anyway, for those of you who don't know what a pistol brace is, I just so happen to have an example of one. This is an AR-15 chambered in 5.56-223. It has a lesser than 16-inch barrel. This is considered a pistol. This is not a stock. This is a brace. So this brace here allows for someone who has a disability with their other hand so that they can actually use this part there to strap around their arm. It is not a stock by definition from the ATF for 10 years or better. And now suddenly they have a problem with this. So first of all, we're handling a firearm, right? And you can see I've got the bolt locked back to the rear. There is no round in that chamber. Our magazine is empty. This weapon is perfectly safe to handle. So I've got the pistol brace. It's slid. It has an adjustment. You can adjust it also, like some stocks. But I put it to the end so that I could pull it off. And this is what the ATF wants you to have a pistol looking like. So for those of you who are familiar with the AR-15, you cannot have an AR-15 and it function like it's designed to function without this. This is a buffer tube. This houses a spring and a buffer. What that does is it compensates for the recoil. Whenever you fire this thing and that bolt slides back, the bolt slides back into that tube against the spring and the buffer. That's what makes the softer recoil of the AR-15. So you cannot have an AR-15 without one. So they said, oh, okay, you can make this into a pistol, but you can't have anything on this. Because why? Because even with this, you could still put that up against your shoulder if you wanted to. All this is a ploy to get you in a catch-22. The AR-15 in pistol form has been perfectly legal since they came up with it. So if you want a barrel less than 16 inches, then you must build a pistol if you want to keep from having to register it and pay $200 for the tax stamp and the privilege of owning a short barrel rifle. So the case that the ATF was trying to make is that this in fact is a short barrel rifle, and by their own definition, it's not. It has a barrel length less than 16 inches, and it does not have a stock. Therefore, this is a pistol. But they tried to say that the pistol braces that literally just fit on, and then there's a little bit of a trick to get this on. There we go. So now once it's on there, you will actually use that opening there, and it will go around your arm, your forearm, like that. And it's adjustable, so you can put it at any part, whatever makes it comfortable for you. That's all the pistol brace does. In fact, it was a gentleman by the name of Alex Bosco, I believe, and he had a friend, another veteran friend, he's a veteran as well, that was disabled and had no use of his left arm or hand as far as going to operate a firearm. So he helped design a device for his friend that would allow him to shoot. There's more than this is just one example. They actually have pistol braces for Glocks. That was one of the designs I think Alex Bosco came up with as well. Excuse me. But the AR-15 is one of the more popular. Pistol brace on just about anything with a barrel length shorter than 16 inches converts that to a pistol, or keeps it a pistol, I should say. So there's another little game that the ATF likes to play. So this lower here, this is ooh, that looks kind of cool in there, doesn't it? Against the green screen. This lower here is came as an 80%, and I finished it. So this has no serial number, and it doesn't have to. I'm the one who bought it. I'm the one who finished it, and I'm the one who owns it and uses it. So that's perfectly legal in the state of Georgia in the United States to fabricate and make your own firearm. And since the ATF likes to deem themselves the final authority on everything, they have determined that this is the actual firearm, even though it doesn't house the firing pin or the bolt or the barrel, or no, it's just the trigger group. So they have determined that this is the firearm. So in their infinite wisdom, they have basically created a easy way for you as a homeowner and gun enthusiast to order any of this stuff you see in my hand online and have it sent to your house. It's not as easy as just putting it together. There's some fabrication involved. So whenever you use one of these 80% lowers, I don't think I have one right now for oh, this one I can't do that with. I just forgot. Actually, I can, and I will go ahead and do it. I forgot. This one has a folding stock. So this one has a little piece in between your buffer spring. Remember I told you? So with just a little bit of effort, we can take that piece out. And then I can show you what I wanted to show you. I forgot about this having a folding stock. So there's just one on the AR-15 platform. You have two takedown pins, one here and one in the front. Just to field strip it, all you have to do is take the one in the rear. So now this thing is cracked open. You basically just provided access to your bolt carrier group. Here's your pull handle, charging handle rather. And when you purchase this as an 80% lower, all this part that you see here that's houses the trigger mechanism, all that there is solid. So you have to have the skill set, the tooling, the jig, and the tools to route that out, mill it out, drill the holes in the side for your trigger and so forth. But anyway, yeah, thanks to the ATF and their infinite wisdom, they have determined that this does not qualify as a firearm until this piece is finished. So you can buy that piece unfinished and then rock on. So now I have an AR-15, completely legal, mil spec, but with no firearm, or no registration, no serial number. And for my personal use, I built it. It's mine. My personal use, my property. And so if I want to legally transfer this, this is another bunch of bullshit from the ATF. So if I want to transfer this to my family member, to a friend, or whatever, at least with the way the laws were a couple of years ago, all I have to do then is submit what I have built, the caliber. There's certain criteria. You'll have to fill out a form, send it off to the ATF and say, hey, I have this 5.56 223 pistol, and I want to transfer it to somebody else. So they take all your information. They send you back a serial number. At that point, you have a serial number for the weapon, and that weapon is registered to you. You will put the serial number in the designated place, the size, the depth, how they want it, as far as engraved in the lower. And now this lower has a serial number. It is by all means a firearm, according to the ATF as well. And now they know you have it. And at that point, now you can transfer that firearm to somebody else. Sell the firearm and transfer it. And it's legal in the eyes of the ATF or the United States government. The bottom line is the government wants their fingers in everybody's little pudding. They want to know, anytime you hear gun registry, you need to have your gun registered, but it is all so that they know what you have. It has nothing to do with attempting to, thwart crime. And that's obvious because look at some of the bigger cities around the United States that have the toughest gun control, Chicago being one of them. Don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. So the bottom line is criminals are going to break the law, hence the name criminals. They don't care about your gun laws, okay? They don't care that you're not supposed to put a stock on a pistol and it's a $10,000 fine if you get caught. Do you think somebody who is out to murder somebody or is going out to rob a bank or steal a car, do you think they're worried about, I need to follow those rules? Come on, let's use some common sense, all right? It's your law-abiding citizens, the people who actually care about our country, care about our freedoms, and care about our laws. They're the ones that are the most affected by these stupid gun laws that they put out there. The ATF, this micro regulation of, and here's another example, California, right? If I was to have this in California, this violates so many California laws. California gun control violates every aspect of the Second Amendment Constitution. It can't have a removable magazine, a pistol grip, and a stock. It can have two of the three, but it can't have all three. All of those things have nothing to do with the effectiveness of the weapon, the caliber of the weapon, the accuracy of the weapon, the damage the weapon can do. It's just aesthetics. It's scary, scary. So, yeah, don't get me off on that tangent. So anyway, another little trick that the ATF likes to play. Again, back to the lower. This is the part that they consider the engine. This is the part that makes it a firearm. If I disconnect this upper from there, it's just an upper, and I can mail it. It's perfectly fine in the mail. I can order stuff on Palmetto State Armory and change out the upper, change out the trigger, change out the grip, all this stuff. I can order everything. I don't think Palmetto State Armory does sell the lowers, but they sell them finished. So whenever you buy a lower and then you're going to build or put together one of your own, and you buy a fully milled out lower, they treat that just like a firearm. So that's the part that you'll have to send to a third party or a registered FFL and pay the little, normally it's like anywhere $20, $40, something like that, for them to be able to receive it in via special order. And then you will go pick it up from them, do a background check and all that other stuff. So you can see why there's definitely a draw to make your own. When it comes to food, grow your own. When it comes to firearms, if you can, make your own. So everything on this can be just bought and purchased. Now you can buy the individual pieces. A lot of mine that I've done, I do that I'll buy the upper separate from the barrels. That way I can customize it and make it exactly what I want. And not have to worry about, I'm just going to buy the closest thing to it, and then I'm going to upgrade it by changing this and do that. So that's one of the advantages to building yourself. Now, some of the parts are getting a little more expensive. But I think I probably have $350 total tied up in this. I bought this individually pieced out. Took me a little while to find everything I wanted, but this one had a specific purpose. I wanted the folding stock on this thing. And I wanted the folding stock so that I can put this in my saddlebag on my motorcycle. Very compact once you do this. And it still allows me to have that 5.56 223 ammo that I want to carry, and an AR-15 platform that I'm very familiar with and very efficient. Going through the motions, I'm very, very familiar with, how to clear stovepipe round. I know exactly the inner workings. If it ever acts up, I have a good idea of what it is that's acting up. But one of the good things about the AR-15 is it so very rarely does act up. If it acts up, chances are it's because of something you've done or not done, as far as keeping it oiled, keeping it cleaned, didn't secure a pin, something along that lines. It's pretty bulletproof platform. I thoroughly enjoy talking about them. I thoroughly enjoy making them, and I enjoy operating them. And I keep veering off of this, but I want to get back to when I built this particular lower, I built it for this pistol build. Now, in theory, the way it's supposed to go now, because I built this and it's a pistol, this lower cannot be used for a rifle. It's not supposed to be used for a rifle. Right now it is, I guess technically, well, if it had a serial number, it would have to be serialized as a pistol or a rifle. So what do they call this? Something other than or something, where it technically this one can be both. It doesn't have a serial number, and whatever its finished condition is, if that's what I choose to have it registered in, if I choose to have it registered at all, if I ever want to transfer this legally to someone, then I would have to assign it a serial number. At that case, they would have to know, is this a pistol? Is this a rifle? What's, at least the configuration that it was last put in. What is that configuration? What's the length of the barrel? What's the caliber of the weapon? Is it a pistol or is it a rifle? So all that information is, it's ridiculous. The rules are just so stupid. I can literally take my 18-inch AR-15. It will most certainly fit, but I can take this upper off of this, and perfectly legal to remove the upper off of my pistol and put this upper on the lower. And that's perfectly fine, because you can have a pistol in any length, regardless of what kind of apparatus you have on the end of it. However, if I take the upper part of this pistol, and if I were to put it on my lower here, which is identical in spec, the lower part here, but because it has a stock on it, yeah, I've just violated federal law, and I have created a short barrel rifle. How stupid is that? And the difference in the two are this right here. It's whether or not this is a pistol brace or whether it's a stock. I can't have a short barrel rifle, but I can have a short barrel pistol. And you tell me, I mean, because this is set up to be a rifle, you're literally, you're talking, there's no difference. There's really no difference. So I have a stock on one, pistol brace on the other. And yet they're the same caliber. Same, well, actually the effective range is probably different. It's better on the rifle because it has a longer barrel, pick up more velocity and so forth. But same ammo, same magazine, same inner trigger parts, same, this one has a bad lever, which is a battery assist device, which basically just clips onto your bolt release there. So you can actually, with one-handed operation, when you pull the bolt back, charge it back, whatever, you don't have to push to the other side. You can just flip it up with your finger, and then same with your finger, you can release the bolt that way. But that will add on to my others just as easily. Again, with a mil-spec AR-15, they're like Legos for grown men. Everything just clips together. Sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes there's a little bit of tweaking and fitting only on the parts that are designed as a accessory for the AR-15. The inner parts and everything are pretty much interchangeable. I don't know of any case that they're not. So again, I believe I've spoken about this in one of my videos about the AR-15. So there's a mil spec, and that's military specifications for every little thing on the inner workings of the basic rifle. Okay. there's not a mil spec on the Picatinny. There may be a specification generally for a Picatinny rail, but when I talk about mil spec, we're talking about I can take any trigger mechanism, my selector, my mag release, I can take any of that completely apart and put it in another one and it'll fit because of the mil spec. So mil spec is not better than anything else. It's not like, oh, that's top of the line, that's something special. No, it's just a specification. So if your AR-15 is mil spec, it's like the rest of them. So they're have interchangeable parts. They made around the same time the AR-15. Actually, I think it was a little bit before the AR-15. They had the AR-10 platform. Very, very similar, looks almost identical. The biggest difference is the magwell. The magwell is a little bit longer, and so your upper would not fit from an AR-15 to an AR-10. The AR-10 will house your 308 rounds, like NATO 7.62 by 51, the longer rounds, because obviously they'll fit up through the magazine well. But with the AR-10, there is no mil spec. So if you build an AR-10, which my jig and my tooling, I can do AR-9, AR-10, and AR-15. Well, the AR-10 you'll still be milling it out, and in fact, I think the trigger parts are the same from the AR-10 to the AR-15. But when it comes to building, say, your upper, you'll want to buy a matched upper with the lower, so that you don't have any problems with the fitting. Otherwise, because there is no mil spec, you can, in theory, be putting stuff together that just will not work. It's just not going to work, not without some heavy duty machining and polishing and fitting and all that sort of stuff. So with your AR-15, you have the mil spec. Everybody makes mil spec parts for the AR-15, so everything fits. There is none of that, fine honing and fitting and stuff like that, because they've already meet the basic minimum military specs. So anyway, that is about it. The pistol brace is obviously useful. It has a use. For those of you who do not have a disability, I think it kind of gives it a more sporty look. Just better overall look, and that's just personal preference. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. This is for all intended purposes, it looks like a short barrel rifle, but by definition it's not, and is a testament to the fact that we don't need any kind of that we shouldn't need any kind of permission, special tax stamp, certificates, anything like that to have a short barrel rifle. If we can have a pistol, we should be able to have a short barrel rifle. That just doesn't make it that tells you that we have people in places making decisions for us that don't know what the hell they're talking about. And for the politician who somehow believes or thinks that this thing basically allows bump fire, this has nothing to do with bump firing. This is strictly a device to help someone with a disability maintain control over the AR-15 while shooting it one-handed. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else that this does. But for those of you clowns electing these fools, this is what we get when we don't vet these people correctly. Thank you very much for joining me. I do appreciate any and all patronage. And I do offer all this information and my opinions, of course, for free. There's no charge for my site. I do not have a Patreon. I'm doing this for simply my entertainment. And hopefully you get some entertainment out of it as well. In the meantime, I will try to be coming up with some more stuff to share with you guys. See if you're interested. Hope you get as much out of it as I like to think I've put into it. So anyway, I am Smatterchew, and I approve of this message. Smatterchew out.